Hello everybody, my name's Adam and welcome to another Community Engagement Programme podcast. Well, that's a great transition into like the next sort of topic of conversation, if you like. You mentioned KitKlub, Mike, which essentially what got Alfie's interest. Yes. Alfie loves a voice note, by the way. I don't know if you have a voice note. I have a mundane voice note. Yeah. Loves a voice note, and you've done a fair play. So yeah, Trade Centre Wales, Trade Centre UK, this is kind of our bit to give back to the community and stuff. But let's go back a little bit. Yeah. There's a brilliant story, Mike, of how you and Mark actually met, how Trevor was born, and essentially was what brought you on as the brand ambassador. Let's just delve into that a little bit, and then we'll get into KitKlub and that.
So I was booked to be the after-dinner speaker at an event that happened to be a James Bond night in Swansea at the is it the Hilton Hotel? The Marriott Hotel, that's right, down the bay. So I'm there, just booked as a speaker. There's lots of tables. One of those tables happened to be Trade Centre Wales. So I'm doing like going around the tables, having a thing here, having a pop here, a little joke here, and I get to Trade Centre Wales's table, right? So they had an advert on the television and the radio years ago that they had an American accent, and I could tell it wasn't an American person doing it. I could tell it was an actor doing that. And their strapline was going, Trade Centre Wales, pull my finger. And I'm thinking like, so as if to say like it's a joke that the car is only this much, you're pulling, pull my finger. So I know I'm taking the mickey out of Trade Centre Wales in front of the owner, who I didn't know was the owner. And I could see this chap looking at me going like, yeah, I'm going to kill him. Who is this guy? So after I'd done my thing, which was about, 50 minutes maybe. And I just go to the bar, and they had these models there, and people were having, photographs as James Bond. And then this man comes up to me, and his name was Mark Bailey. And he said to me, hey, he said, taking the mickey out of my adverts. And I said, I'm ever so sorry. I said, thank you for joining in the fun, And he said, well, do you think you can do any better? Wow. And I went, actually, yes. And he said, right, what are you doing Monday? I said, I'm free Monday. He said, right, my office, 9 o'clock. And then we both looked at each other, and we both went, don't be late. Oh, really? The two of us went like that. So I turned up at his office, and we just sat there, the two of us, with silence, and thinking, oh, I'm now Billy Big so-and-so's. Yeah. You think you can do, I can't even think of one thing to say, Although I have done voiceovers in the past, but they were all scripted and whatever. Now he's now saying, well, what have you got up your sleeve? So in my show that he saw, he said, you did this voice. And I said, which one? He said, but a guy called Nigel. Oh, I said, Nigel. My name's Nigel, and I'm going to go to Tibet. I'm going to go to Tibet to find myself. So I said to my mother, I said, how do I go to Tibet, Ma'am? I don't know, love. She said, go down to Swansea Station and ask there. So I went to Swansea Station. They said, you better go to Cardiff. They know more about those things like that down there. So I go to Cardiff. You better go to Paddington. So I'm in Paddington. I said, how do I get to Tibet? And they said, you better go on the Eurotunnel, get to Paris and ask there. Anyway, I ended up in Tibet. Bit of Special K, bit of yoga, and trying to find myself. And it turns out when I got to Tibet, I didn't need to be here, because I'm Nigel after all. I'm me. I don't need to find myself. I'm already me. And I'm telling this joke, right? And Mark's going, he says, that's the funniest voice I've ever heard. I said, oh yeah, Nigel. He goes, Nigel. Then all of a sudden he said, I got this thing coming out called Nothing. So the first advert was nothing. So the advert started like this. Nothing. What do you mean nothing? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? Nothing to pay until March 2007. Buy the car today. Nothing to pay until March 2007. Well, nothing to pay until March 2007. With this Nigel voice. We changed the name to Trevor. Mark liked the name Trevor. He came up with that name, Trevor. and the rest is history. We have done, I think, over 1,000 ads. We did Trevor. Trevor then had different friends, which was Stacey, Trade Centre.
I have this in the car like, daily.
Yeah.
You have no idea who was driving in the car because he just morphs into different people constantly.
Stacey was one of my favourites. This was to the part exchange outlet, Merthyr, and she was the manager there. See. And the idea was Trevor was forever coming up and spoiling her thunder, that he's down there in Neath, you see, in the big store. So it was like, Trevor, get your hands off my big red button, right? Because he was going, good afternoon, shoppers. This is Stacey here. So we had Stacey when Mr. Reese, a farmer. Oh yes. It's snowing up here in Cardigan, boy. Have you got any 4x4s there, boy? So we certainly have, Mr. Rees. Why don't you come down to Trade Centre Wales in Neath, and we've got such and such 4x4 for only 9,999. We got this 4x4 for 6,999. So will we see you in the store, Mr. Rees? Hang on, I'll have to ask Brenda. Brenda, are we going? No, Brenda's the sheep.
Oh, Brenda's the sheep. Of course.
Brenda, are we going down? And as they arrive at the site,
than a sheep.
But this ad was successful, and then you hear then Trade Centre Wales, we got the car for you. Come on, Emrys, pop in. Is the baby lamb, and the lamb jumps in and he goes,
Emrys.
It was a brilliant hit.
This is my life daily.
I know.
This is my life daily.
It was brilliant.
My life daily.
It was brilliant.
And then how did that that relationship obviously evolved? And when did KitKlub first come into it then? Right?
So for me, I was the voice of Trade Centre. I've been doing that for 20 years. So in fact, this year is our anniversary. The pandemic hit, and show business was decimated, as we all know, and as was the car industry, actually. And Mark Bailey rang me up in the middle of it all and said, "Hey, buddy, how are you coping down there?" And I said, "Oh, well, we're still here, And he said, "Look, come and work for me." I said, "What? Doing what?" He said, "I got this thing called KitKlub. I want you to head that up." So I thought, if you have to do it for 3 months, it'd be something over the pandemic, because there's no money. And I'm still here. So KitKlub happened, 400 teams. We then wanted to get more people involved. I'd said to Jack Bowen, who was working for us then, I said, "Look, Jack," I said, I know Gareth Thomas really, really well. So we went and knocked on your door, do you remember?
Yeah.
We went and knocked in his house.
Literal knock on the door.
We went round his house.
I didn't know they were coming.
And so we went in spotless. It was spotless. So his dog Boyo wants to kill us, and then we sat there having a cup of tea, and Gareth, we put it to him what we're doing, and he just thought, "Yeah, I love this, and but he's always instilled it's a team effort. We've always said that, fair play, and so that's how we got to there, and of course KitKlub then evolved into community engagement programs. So we're no longer just doing teams, we're doing everything from food banks to youth clubs.
But KitKlub needed to evolve.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So KitKlub needed to evolve. So what we found out was KitKlub was like an unbelievably generous gift, right, to communities.
Yes.
But what we realised was that sporting clubs or sporting teams they're just a part of community. They aren't the communities. So the people who walk through the doors of Trade Centre come from a community. They might now have no association with that sporting team. So we kind of felt that KitKlub, as generous as it was only giving back to a small part of the community. So we just felt that we as an organisation want to represent the whole of the community of people that walk through Trade Centre's doors. So the whole of people who come here know that this isn't just a place where you can buy a car. This is a place that actually puts back into the communities and instills the values that you got there into the communities, so that when you come into Trade Centre, you kind of know what to expect and you can trust. And that's then how we started to realise that you know, there can be great benefits here from the community as far as like the schooling goes, as far as the college education goes, as far as the youth club goes, as far as like the associations within the communities goes. There's so much within that community that we can touch and we can reach. That's outside of basic sport. I think because we feel so many individuals, like all of us, will have like a degree of separation away from somebody who's playing sport that we feel is like it's the center of everyone's universe. But the reality is within community, it's not. So KEP was grown to be able to be a representation of the whole community rather than just one segment of it.
It's like walking into, in Rotherham, for argument's sake, I walk into a food bank there, which is run by a church. They know that we're a big company. They know that, you know, all the flags are flying, and this food bank is a stone's throw from our business. And I walk in there, and the fact that we made a donation, you won't believe how that made a difference to them. Yeah. But you know what? It wasn't just the money. It was the fact that we actually care. It's the fact that we actually reached out. It's the fact that you've spent time with them. And of course, then we often talk about this with community engagement. It's the follow-up. That follow-up might just be a call, you know. Hey guys, it's Mike from the Trade Centre, the Community Engagement Programme. How's it all going for you? How's it all working out there, you know? Yeah. Oh, Mike, it's going great, you know. And your donation's made a great difference to what we're trying to achieve here and so on. So the fact that the business like Trade Centre UK in Rotherham care about this food bank, it says it all, man. It says it all. And we get a buzz. We really do, don't we, Gar? I mean, when we drive away from some of these places, it's a great feeling. And then I have to listen to Gareth Thomas singing songs all the way home.
Christmas songs in July.
Yeah.
Christmas songs in July.